Good evening and welcome to another episode of the Central Division Showdown. I'm here with we just got one additional person tonight. I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
B Falls, this is your boy Tate from Fans First Sports Network here representing the Cleveland Cavaliers from the That's Rather Cavalier podcast. Uh, that's pretty much it, man. We're gonna talk some hoops tonight. I mean, look like we some man down a few spots on the screen, but we'll be all right.
Yeah, no Bulls affiliate tonight. We obviously still got to find some Bucks and Pacers fellas, but we're gonna talk about the week that was Central Division. How was the Cavs week? How have they been doing?
Oh man, it was a whole bunch of the same, bro. You know what I mean? I mean, if you remember what I said last week, I'm saying the same thing this week. We ain't lost this last time I was on the show. So this is the third Monday in a row with no L's to report.
That's crazy.
So yeah, Cavs had a few big games this week. They went to Orlando and beat Orlando down in Orlando. It's always a tough matchup. Orlando's so long and disruptive defensively.
Yeah.
With some of their defenders with Wagner and Paulo, and one thing they don't have, which is where, excuse me, I think we got them at, is they don't have perimeter shooting. So once you're able to get a rhythm going within the game and kind of shrink the paint, you know what I mean? Because that's where they excel at. Paulo going to the bucket, Franz going to the bucket. You get some of them guys going downhill, they become a load. But when you pack the paint with Allen and Mobley, and then with the addition of DeAndre Hunter, who's been balling, we'll talk about that later. You limit their ability to score. So once we finally got to the rhythm, start hitting shots, we started to pull away. And that's kind of what happened in that game. But still a tough matchup physically against Orlando. Then there was another game in there. I think maybe it was Friday. It was Boston. Man, Cavs count Boston. I think y'all experienced the same thing when y'all beat Boston. They came out hitting everything. Everything. I mean, it was like 9 into the game. Might have been 8 minutes, but first 4 minutes, Boston up 25-3.
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember that.
25-3. So it was looking bad, man. I mean, but when you're a fan and you talk about the team and report on the team and write some stuff about the team, you got to pay attention to it. So I was watching it. And every start against the Celtics this year, the Cavs have started slow. So true to form, this game on Friday, they started slow, 25-3. Obviously, that's a super slow start. They look like they're run us out the gym. By the time the first quarter was over, Cavs cut the lead to 10. So they got back in it. I mean, the Boston crowd was going crazy. Jason Tatum even going to a timeout, hit a big three. Get the F out of here. This is our house. Talking. That ain't like JT. He was feeling himself.
Yeah.
But he did score 46 and 11 and 8. And June, your co-host from the post game, he was on my show the other day. We was talking about he rewound his pick. The crazy take Pay had in June. I said, I told June, yeah, you jumped off the ship with Tommy now, huh? He's like, Tatum is better if I would start. And it came up because we had a Boston guy on the phone because June and the Celtic guy, shout out to the homie Quiggs on the Horror File podcast, FFSC and Boston Celtics. But June was saying that Quiggs said that Jaylen Brown was top 20. Like, I mean, it didn't just come up. I said, oh, okay, Jaylen Brown top 20. So I say to the Celtics guy, right? So what's Jason Tatum in your ranking? He said, well, I have no reason to think or reason to believe that he's not top 5. Thank you. From a fan who follows the team, knows the team. And then he just keeps demonstrating it, man. I mean, he in the discussion now with a few other people about potentially being the face of the league after Bron and Steph and KD are going and stuff like that. We don't hear that talk about Jaylen Brown. I mean, yeah, Jaylen Brown is a great player.
Yeah.
He's not Jason Tatum. So that's to our homie not here, Pay, who rolling with Jaylen Brown. In that game, like I said, Tatum scored 46-11 with like 8 assists and 3 blocks. I mean, that's best player in the NBA type numbers, you know. But I will also say that game we came back, winning. Donovan Mitchell had 41 himself.
Mhm.
Evan Mobley had a strong fourth quarter. Only had like 4 points and 6 rebounds through the 3 quarters. Then the fourth quarter, he had like 11 and 8. Kind of got offensive rebounds, kind of taking over, hit a couple threes. So that was good to see. And then Sunday, we played Portland at home in Cleveland, and we're able to beat them in overtime, no less. I mean, Donovan Mitchell didn't play. It was one of them games I think that we lucky to win because that could be one of those letdown games. You can see that happening, but they was lucky to get in there, get overtime, and come out with a victory.
So the Portland
and in that game, I told you, DeAndre Hunter, the new acquisition from Atlanta, scored 32 and 11. So balled out. And so did Ty Jerome. But that's the cast for the week.
So the Portland game was the toughest. Well, I don't know if it's the toughest game, but was that the closest game between all of them?
That was the closest score-wise. They won by 4. They ended up beating Boston by 7. That was a trap game. Shout out to the homie Lamar Thomas. That was a trap game. But it beat Boston by, I believe, 6 or 7. Ended up being by Orlando by double digits. But, yeah, so it was the toughest game on the scoreboard. But the toughest game just as a game was Boston.
Okay, for sure. And as far as the Pistons are concerned, we went 3-1 on the week. Our 8-game winning streak finally got snapped in the third game against Denver. That was a rough game at home. But overall, a solid week. We knew that it was going to be a tough string of games when you start talking about the Clippers, Boston, and Nuggets back to back to back. So the fact that we were able to beat the Clippers by 9 in a game where they shot very, very poor from 3. They shot 26% from 3. Bojan Bogdanovic shot 1 for 12. And yeah, we were able to beat them by 9 points. And then the very next game, we beat Boston by 20. A game where I didn't realize they took that many threes, but I think they took like 49 or 50 threes in that game. They started slow. They got hot in the second half. And as of lately, the Pistons have really been right after halftime making some really good adjustments and winning and taking over in that third quarter and closing out games a lot better. But like I said, we lost the third game of the week by 15 to the Nuggets, where they just, I don't know. I think Cade played pretty bad. He had 1 point going into the second half, and Jokic just took a boatload of free throws, and Denver was just knocking everything down. I think Zeke Naji hit 2, was 2 for 2 from 3. They just had everything was clicking for them. They were getting all the loose balls. Everything that went right in the Boston game didn't go right in the Denver game. But on Sunday we were able to bounce back and beat Brooklyn by a pretty sizable score. I think it was like we won by 21 points. So definitely a good week for the Pistons overall. They snapped the streak, but we start a whole brand new streak going up against Brooklyn. So we got a West Coast trip coming up, and hopefully we can win some games on that road trip as well. Let's see what Lamar Thomas is. He said that Detroit Utah game tonight could potentially be game of the night. Ooh, I hope not. The last time we played Utah was in Detroit, and they actually beat us pretty good. So I think they got a couple guys out. I think they got
that's a tough take to take. And I'm sitting here watching Houston OKC right now.
Right. Yeah. I'm not sure why he pinpoints that as the game of the night, but
it could be a good game. I'm gonna watch it, but
yeah, for
I'm looking at OKC in Houston right now.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully it's not too tough, but Utah has some talent, especially if guys like Markkanen, John Collins, Kessler. I mean, they definitely got some good players on that team. So, but yeah, so overall for the Pistons, we're currently 34-27, 6 in the East, and we've won 9 of our last 10 games. So we're on a nice little streak, and hopefully we can close out the rest of the season strong, because we got some ground that we might be able to make in the Central and in the Eastern Conference. But we're gonna get.
Who's next up after the Jazz?
I believe it's Portland.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, to me, and there's no guarantees in any of the games while they play the games, right? But you just got to win the games. I mean, because remember we talked about this is the All-Star break. Y'all came back after the break and had a great run. Right. If you won 4 out of 5, was it, since the All-Star break? What win streak were you on going into the All-Star break? 3 game, 4 game?
It was like shorter. So yeah, 3 or 4 by that point.
So you obviously done won at least 5 out of 6 since the All-Star break.
Yep. It was
so
actually
that's like we were talking about your record, how you can win 44, 45 games. Just beat the team you're supposed to beat. You're supposed to beat Utah. You're supposed to beat the Blazers. Now, out west, maybe it's another team you got to play that might be a little tougher game, but just winning game you're supposed to play. Supposed to win. Y'all get up to the 4th seed.
Absolutely. And we're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna definitely talk about what we got in front of us. We'll be right back. Actually, before we get to the upcoming games, this is unrelated to the East, but I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the run that the LA Lakers have been on lately. This is a weekend where they've beat the Clippers back-to-back in consecutive games, and a lot of people probably thought that it would take a little bit for Luka and LeBron to get chemistry down, and for Luka to get acclimated after coming back from injury, but it seems like they're already starting to click and have that chemistry going. Is it safe to say that the Lakers have put themselves back in contention to be a championship team?
Definitely, no doubt in my mind. Yeah. I mean, and when the trade happened, I said I need a 2 or 3 game sample size. I was sold after the first 2 or 3 games. I mean, because I believe I said on one of the previous podcasts, not last Monday, Monday before, Luka and LeBron are machines. Yeah. With high basketball IQ. Right. They can play anywhere on the floor. They run the point. They can post up. They can hit the stand, catch and shoot 3. Then they can do anything. They both go rebound. They both can get you 10 boards a game. So yeah, I mean, it was inevitable. Now, do they need another piece like just a goon, right? A 7-footer to take 6 fouls and be physical with the other team. That's all they need.
Yeah.
And health.
Yeah, health will certainly help anybody. But I mean, I think the first couple games, Luka was still hurt and they were still blowing teams out. So the writing was on the wall that I don't know if it's just the optimism and energy of a league shifting trade happening, but they were already clicking on all cylinders previous to Luka.
Yeah, you're right. Going to All-Star break, they had a bad loss the game before the All-Star break. I can't remember who they lost to. Somebody should have won. They lost, and that's not like a 5 or 6 game win streak then.
Right.
This is after the All-Star break. I think they've only lost 1 game since after the All-Star break. Yeah. Having beat Denver, the Clippers twice. I mean, all these teams in front of them, and they have won their way to second place right now.
Yeah, they made some moves because I want to say they were like 6th, 7th maybe, but I definitely think they're a team that can contend with OKC, who, I mean, wins-wise, they're still head and shoulders above everybody. I think they got a good 10 games on the number 2 team. But
they won't catch them, but
no,
just being the top 4 for the Lakers is good. They want home court advantage. They don't need it, but you may as well play most of your games at home, right? You're more comfortable more nights than you are than the team that's on the road.
Right.
So, I see that being a thing, but yeah, I don't see any reason the Lakers can't compete. I mean, I think OKC has the edge athletically and the youth and all that.
Right.
But we know the playoffs, it slows down, bro. it slows down. The playoffs turn to an old man's game. You know, like we saw the other week. You know, you get the old school dudes out there with they little short shorts with the piping going around it and the high socks, and you like Pace said, you get the YNs out there,
Right.
come out there, and they trying to run you. So I think with LeBron and Luka, and let's not forget about Austin Reeves, man. Dude is like that with the ball in his hand. So he can actually handle the ball for a period of time and take Luka and LeBron both off the ball.
Lamar says they're playing with 2 starters down. Who's he talking about?
The Lakers.
Who's down?
Rui didn't play last night.
Oh.
And then the other starter, I'm not sure. LeBron and Luka played. Austin Reeves played. The center is what's his name?
Hayes, right?
Hayes, yeah, Hayes. He played. So I'm not sure who the second starter is. But they got Vanderbilt off the bench. They got your boy from Miami. Reeves didn't play last night? He said Reeves and Rui, but I thought Reeves played last night. So if he didn't play, then yeah, they were down to starters.
Yeah.
But I just don't think the Clippers are that good either. I think Ty Lue holds them together because he's a great coach.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Kawhi, Harden. I don't think Harden had a good game last night. Clippers probably aren't very good, but
yeah, I mean they're gonna make the top 6 probably, but they not. I have no expectations of them. And shout out, even though they lost that night, shout out to the homie Pay too, because he bet me that Golden State don't make the playoffs. I bet him that they would. So we got a little bet on that, and they won.
Oh, they've
like
been
8 since Jimmy Butler joined them. Jimmy Butler didn't play last night, so only lost 1 game with Jimmy Butler.
Right. He said, "What up with KD and Phoenix though? They're working on a trade, right?
I can't trade now all season.
Well, no. You said they can't trade him now. Yeah.
Right now in all season,
right.
Yeah. KD out of here, but they big trash, man. Yeah. That whole concept of Bill, Booker, and KD. I mean, Booker and KD was enough. Around that, you need a ball distributing point guard who can get people good shots because they both great shot makers, right? You get spot Book up somewhere, he can catch and drive or pull up and shoot. KD the same way. You get another big and you get a stretch forward and you roll with that. Bradley Beal was not a good pickup. And now he won't go away because he got no trade clause.
I was gonna say, and you give him the opportunity to have a no trade clause, which is only LeBron is the only other person in the entire league that has that luxury. So I don't know how Bill gets that, but I think this is another indication that the NBA this is not NBA 2K. I'm sure they play great on video games, but in real life, you got to really
absolutely 100% false.
Yeah, you got to really make these things work together. I mean,
Bill signed his contract with the Wizards, so poorly run organizations makes poor decisions. Now, is that something when he's traded Phoenix? Phoenix got him the wave to get traded.
Right.
Maybe they could have done that, but they let him keep it. Now they stuck with him. Right. He's not even a top 50 NBA player no more.
Nah, he's not, and now they got to deal with that. So yeah, they've already said. I mean, I don't know if this is 100% confirmed, but it appears I've already seen graphics of KD to the Spurs, and it's Wemby, Fox, and KD. So I guess he's just gonna bounce around the league until he.
That's super nice with the young players they got. Like I didn't hear that, but that would be instant championship contention, and Pop coming back next year starting fresh.
Yeah. So hopefully he gets well soon because he's officially done for the year, right? Coaching wise.
Yeah. Wemby and Pop. Yeah.
Right. I was gonna say, yeah, ain't no reason for him to come back. He can just suit up, next year.
Catch all them L's on his record. He don't need that.
Right. Yeah. So I guess that
doesn't 23 games left. He probably gonna lose 18 of them.
Yeah, more than likely. Yeah. But yeah, I was actually hoping to get this Chicago affiliates outlook on the rest of the season, but we got about, I know the Pistons got about 21 games left. But what are your how do you feel the Cavs will fare? See, this is kind of an easy question for you because you kind of got a nice little sizable lead anyways. But how many games y'all got left? Do you know?
Oh, let me pull it up. Man, let me pull up the standings.
Yeah.
No, see y'all y'all not as not as petty as I am with some of these no ditties because let me pull it up. I gave myself a no ditty. That's why I apologize. But yeah, we are 50 and 10. We 7.5 games ahead of the Celtics. So we got 22 games to play.
Okay, yeah, Lamar says 22. All right. Okay. So I mean, y'all have only lost 10 games the entire season. So
yeah, it's about an 83.5% win percentage.
Yeah, which is crazy. What's the record? Like 60 something? Or no, 72. Didn't somebody win 72 games?
The Golden State won 73 and 9, and they lost to the Cavs that year.
Right.
The Bulls, they had a record of 72 and 10. You wanted to get a Bulls take in there. There's the Bulls.
Well, right. Yeah, that's a Bulls take. Okay. So the rest of the way, how do you think you're gonna fare with 22 games left?
I had the schedule up. Let me pull it back up.
The Cavaliers will be playing the
Does it even matter who you play at this point? Like, do you
see? It matters because some games gonna be tough. Some teams gonna be playing for some.
Right.
Play the Bulls tomorrow. That's a win. The Heat at home on Wednesday. That should be a win. The Hornets in Charlotte. That should be a win. Now you get the next Sunday. Week from this Sunday coming. We play the Bucks in Milwaukee. That'll be a tough one. We're 2-0 against them so far, but Dame and Giannis look healthy, back playing. They have Kuzma. You know, right. They've been playing well. I'm still not off. They may not catch the Knicks, but I think they get that 4 spot over Indiana. Even though Indiana's been playing well too. We talk about the Central.
Yeah.
Then they got the Nets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next 5 games, they should at least win 4. Maybe a loss to Milwaukee. Then they leave. Then we got to go to Memphis. That's a tough one. The Magic come to us. I think we can beat that because they shooting ain't gonna got no better. Then we go on our West Coast trip to the Clippers, the Kings, and the Suns, and the Jazz, and the Blazers. So I'd say maybe 3 losses out of the next 12, 13 games. That's what I project.
Okay. 3 losses.
So 9 wins and 3 losses in the next 12. Just looking at the quick glance at the schedule.
Okay, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really go game by game. I mean, I do know that the Pistons got 21 games left. They have the 11th easiest schedule down the stretch, and their opponents have a winning percentage of 49%. So, my prediction is that we'll win 14 out of the next 21 games, so 14-7 to close out. And I think that. I think that we have the capability of passing one of the teams ahead of us so we're 6. So we're behind Milwaukee and Indiana we have the same amount of wins as them, but we have 2 more losses than them. For whatever reason, for the majority of the year, we've just played 2 more games every time I look up. So, we're right there. We're right there to take Indiana or Milwaukee spots. It's just going to come down to the 3 final games we have against Central Division opponents. We got 2 games against Milwaukee and 1 game against Cleveland. And certainly we can win both games against Milwaukee. We'll be in good shape to pass them. But even if we can split the last 2 games of the year against Milwaukee, which is a home and home, I think that we have the opportunity to pass Indiana or Milwaukee. But they've they pretty much treaded water. I don't, they haven't had crazy, certainly haven't had crazy winning streaks to the length, to the level of Detroit. But I don't see Milwaukee or Indiana falling off at this point. They're playing, they're both playing pretty well. So I think we'll finish. I think we'll finish 14-7, and I think we have a pretty good chance of passing one.
What is your final record or what? From right now, how many wins you got right now?
That's a good question. I should have looked up. Let me see.
I got like 37 wins, right? 36.
I think it's 34-27. So 14 plus that
48 and 34.
Hey, if they would have told me that would have been our record at the end of the year, I probably would have laughed. But I'll certainly take it.
Hey, and we talk about this backstage briefly. Hey, man, JB got a lot to do with that, man.
Yeah, I know you want to give credit to your old coach. You don't want to, but nah, yeah, he definitely. He
don't deserve it.
No, he does.
Right.
Yeah, he does. I mean, he definitely came in and set a precedent. He has a totally different temperament and mentality than Monty.
And that's what I told your co-host June the other night when he was on my show. I told him, I said, June, I like Monty Williams, right? I mean, Monty Williams done a good job when he was in Phoenix and stuff like that.
He did.
Just a nice guy, though. That's the difference in culture.
He was too nice.
We're too nice. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. JB is a dog.
Yeah.
I mean, he controls it. He's measured. He speaks to the media. I used to love his press conferences. I mean, he gives you information. He talks about the X's and O's of the game. But, his whole thing is predicated on we got to be tougher. We got to be tougher. He say that a lot. So I think he's instilled that. And when I watch Duran play, and it fits with Isaiah Stewart and a lot of you, Cade Cunningham, a lot of you guys players, man, I think they players feed off that.
Yeah.
So I just got to give a shout out to JB, even though he got the Cavs to a point. Sometimes it takes that other coach to take him over the top. You know what I mean? So hopefully that's what Kenny Atkinson does. He has in the record already. Last year we won 48 games. We already had 50 with 22 to play.
Y'all sound like us.
Right. Yeah. Right. So y'all finished 23 games ahead of y'all pace last year. We can still be 48 wins if we win 62. We could be 14 over what we did, and we won 48 games last year.
And y'all nearly won.
So JB deserves lots of consideration. Kenny Atkinson does too, but Kenny Atkinson not coming to a new team that only won 14 games. So, and because I like JB, the more the discussion goes on, the season goes. Probably kind of more in favor for JB than Kenny, my own coach, for coach of the year, because of the storylines.
Right. Yeah. I mean, just the exceeding expectations and. But yeah, JB, when you talk about JB in his press conferences, he actually had some things to say about Mike Malone, who he got an early tech in the game against I don't know if his name is Mike. I think it's Mike.
It is Mike, because his dad was Brendan, and their dads Bernie and Brendan Malone used to coach together and against each other back in the day. And I think JB and Mike Malone got a relationship going back to when they was young.
Right, when they was young.
See,
okay.
You get old as me, you remember that old stuff.
Right. But so he had some things to say about Mike Malone because he got an early tech in the game when the Pistons started changing the momentum. And he basically said that, Malone cried to the refs. And then after that point, it kind of shifted the momentum and they would no longer allow us to play physical. So he basically said that, he whined to the refs and then the refs called the game a lot more softer. It was a way to criticize the refs and kind of downplay the toughness of Denver without getting fined, essentially. So he
know what he's doing. That's why if you heard me one of the words I said, he's measured.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And because I wasn't very familiar. I knew that he had fared pretty well in Cleveland and that I think he also coached in Memphis for a little bit too. But
he and Houston, but they was intern jobs.
Oh, okay.
To fill
Okay.
in
Yeah,
for somebody got fired.
right. So, but yeah, other than that, I didn't know a whole lot about him. But no, the more and more I see him operate, the more I appreciate the hiring because, yeah, he's turned the team around and he's really set a good precedent for what Detroit as a whole embodies. Like we're all about toughness. We're all about
I said that to June too.
yeah.
JB brings more of the Detroit culture
Right.
than what Monty Williams does.
Right.
Detroit ain't nice, man.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's why I was telling
Cleveland
Joe
ain't
the other
nice,
day.
you know.
Damn
Yeah.
right. I mean,
Yeah.
the fight that I don't know if you watch Tank Davis against Lamont Roach, but that's Tank first Lewis record. You got to draw.
Right.
And really, I'm in DC, and that's Maryland and DC, Baltimore and DC.
Right.
Oh, these jokers around here go at it. I said he from Texas. I said last time I bet on the Texas dude, I lost my wallet, man, because I bet on Earl Spence against who he fought when he got whooped just like a summer ago. It was a big fight. Oh, my boy, from Oklahoma, from Omaha.
I'm not a big boxing guy.
Oh, Lamar, if he watched, he'd tell me who it is. Anyway, got whooped by him. I said, see, that's what happened when I bet on Texas. I said, and no offense to anybody in Texas. I said, Texas don't fight, man. Texas don't fight. Because I watched the game the other day, basketball game, Houston versus San Antonio.
Okay.
And I'm not watching the game. I'm watching the highlights on NBA TV.
Right.
You got your boy Dylan Brooks, who always into some, right? For Houston, always into some.
Yeah.
Get up face to face, forehead to forehead against DeMar DeRozan.
Right.
And your boy, Detroit's I know he's from Chicago, but Detroit's very own Isaiah Thomas said,
right.
What are they doing? He said, we can have that discussion 10, 15 feet apart. When you up in my space, I don't know nothing but swing. So
right.
that's why I said, y'all don't Texas down there. Y'all don't fight, man. Go on somewhere.
Yeah. All right. We'll take the last break and then we'll see what we got left. We're gonna have a little bit of a shorter show since we don't have as much going on, but
that's why I kind of did. I was gonna tell you, kind of did a game by game breakdown up to a point that we need content.
Yeah, we need.
We talking for folks.
Right, exactly. But if there's of your upcoming games on the schedule, if there's one that you would circle as something that you want to pay attention to, or might be a nice little matchup for you, what game would you say that was?
It would be that Bucks game this Sunday and the Grizzlies on the Friday the 14th. Because right now I'm looking at playoff mode. I could care less if you drop a game to one of these losers where y'all might not come going full tilt, right? But when I see you play other potential playoff teams, the Bucks, the Grizzlies, I'm not even worried about the Clippers, the Suns, the Spurs. We play y'all on March 28th. And y'all, them 3 games.
Okay.
Yeah,
the
next 3 games that I see.
End of the month, March 28th?
Yeah, 28th.
Okay.
At your house.
In Detroit. Okay. Wow. I got to go to that one. I got to pop out for that one. What day is the 28th?
It's I don't know. I feel like it's a Friday, maybe not.
Oh yeah, it is a Friday.
Yeah, okay. Because this Friday is the 7th. So Friday 28th.
21 day, 3 weeks. Okay. Oh yeah, that's definitely one to circle on the calendar.
Yeah. That's a great measuring stick for y'all.
You said what?
That's a great measuring stick for y'all.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I really feel like that's why the Boston game was so big for us. Granted, Jaylen Brown didn't play. Obviously we've been without Jaden Ivey all year, and then Schroeder didn't play either. So, in my eyes, I'm gonna call it about even, but I mean, beating Boston by 20 points is always going to be a big deal, especially as well as they played against us earlier in the year. So, So yeah, that was a big one for us. But as far as my key game of the week, we play. Obviously, we have a West Coast trip, so we play Portland. We play Portland. We play Utah in a few minutes. But we got Golden State on Saturday in Golden State. Obviously, Golden State's been playing really, really well. I'm assuming Jimmy Butler's going to be in the lineup. So that's another measuring stick game for me. Golden State's still kind of moving their way up the standings. I don't know exactly where they're at in the standings, but I think
8.
Are they 8 right now?
I'm pulling up while you talk. Go ahead.
Yeah, if they're 8, they're 8 and moving. But yeah, that should be a good game.
Yeah, they're 7. Matter of fact, they're tied with the Clippers. The Clippers must got a win over them head to head or something because they got the same record as Golden State 7, Clippers 6.
Okay, yeah. So
I see the Clippers trending up. Warriors trending up past the Clippers. I see that happening. Yeah. And I think I told Pay this too. When the Timberwolves get going, get healthy, because Gobert been out, Randall been out. DiVincenzo came back last night and hit like 5 out of 8 threes or something. He had like 24 points or something.
Okay.
When he get back, Minnesota's going to be a problem again.
Yeah, because that's a team, to me, that's a team that has some grit too. Like they're not just score a bunch of points. They got some mean, some guys over there that can, play some defense. And I think they're going to be a tough out once they get into the playoffs.
Just like they Dallas beat OKC last year, but if they finish like that 8 spot and they play OKC could be in trouble first round.
Yeah.
In the East, ain't no playing team that's gonna win. That's gonna win first, second, gets the first or second seed. Now, one of them might could be in that position at 6 and upset the Knicks, possibly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not like the West.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk to Pay about because the way it's set up right now, they're going to be a play-in team again because they have a 3-game lead over Philly and Brooklyn, and we all know Embiid is out for the year, and unless Quentin Grimes continues to play like modern day Allen Houston or whoever, because he had like 40 plus, he had 42 points or something yesterday. That was odd, but yeah, it looks like the Bulls are gonna be in that 10th seed to get beat by whoever plays in the what is it? The 7th seed plays the 10th seed.
I think ain't it 7 play 8 and then 9 play 10 and then so if you lose the 7-8 game, you got to win the next game against one of the bottom seeds.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's kind of a weird setup, but at any rate, yeah. So yeah, we got the Warriors.
That's why if you 9-10, you got to win 2 games.
You got to win 2 as opposed to
if you 7-8, you got to win 1 game.
Right. So you do have that advantage. So yeah, this will be a return game for Dennis Schroeder playing on his 3rd team of the year. Because obviously he was in Golden State last. He was traded in order to make that Jimmy Butler thing happen. So that should be a good game. Golden State beat us the last time we went up against them. So, but yeah, I ain't got too much else. What? Go ahead.
I think Draymond take it personal when he play y'all because he grew up watching, idolizing y'all, right? So I think when he playing the home team, he go a little. Not that means a lot on the scoreboard, but it means a lot to the team mentality, right? Like to their level of aggressiveness and his enthusiasm and firing guys up. And I see, him and Jimmy Butler feeding off each other. That's why I picked him to make the playoffs, man. You don't just get 2 dogs. That's why I like Minnesota too, because you got Ant, you got Randall, who's a dog. You got the young boy from Illinois, Shannon, who's a dog. You know what I mean? They got dogs, man. So at some point, that dog will come out the yard and bite. So I just believe in the biters.
I believe in
the dogs, man.
Yeah. Plus, yeah, the thing about Detroit is one thing I will say, we do have some guys that you can kind of get under their skin and get them out of their element. Russell Westbrook inevitably gets into it with Detroit. I think him and Ron Allen got into it on Friday. It's pretty inevitable. So I'm sure Draymond, I know him and Stu have had incidents in the past, and Yeah, it's just
Oh yeah, 'cause you
I
got.
love the mentality, but
I
it
do
does
love the
hurt.
mentality, but it got to be controlled.
Mm-hmm.
That part. But
And I
yeah, I
don't
mean,
blame Holland. Holland's 20 years. He's either 19 or 20 years old. So
he
he'll
the kid.
learn to.
He the kid that missed the free throws against Milwaukee, right? When y'all lost that close game.
Oh man, I forgot about that. We had a couple rough games like that.
Right.
Yeah, Holland in the first game, he got called for two. He got called for two techs. Well, no, not two. Six players on the court. First time he ran on the court early on a buzzer beater. It was like I can't remember who hit the shot, but he ran onto the court to celebrate, and time hadn't passed. And then and then on a substitution, he was supposed to go to the bench, I guess, and he was the sixth man on the court. He was making rookie mistakes early in the year, but they were hurting us early, because I think we started like 3-6 or something like that. We did not have a good start to the year, so those were the growing pains of being a young team. So can't knock them for that. I think it makes us better now, having gone through that early in the year. So, but
Right.
As we close out, let the people know where they can find you at.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, Falls, as we host each other every week for our podcast. That's rather Cavalier Cleveland Cavalier podcast, the post game podcast, Detroit Piston podcast, and Frustrated Chicago Sports Fans, the Bulls podcast. We've had a couple Pacers guests on before and stuff like that. We don't know a Milwaukee guy yet, so we try and incorporate all of this intro. We talk about when there's more of us to talk. We talk about all of them on some kind of level. But yeah, as far as myself, you can find me on Fans First Sports Network, Cleveland. That's rather Cavalier podcast on audio. On YouTube, go ahead and subscribe and follow to the Know It Alls channel. We'll host this show next week on our YouTube platform. Check that out. Lots of fun content over there. We talk football, NBA, get into a little bit of baseball and stuff. So that's every Sunday at 6:00 p.m. Building the following up. Have lots of people that join us called Know It Alls Nation. So yeah, check out that podcast. For Fan Sports Network, I'm part of the Steel Curtain Network. See that Steelers?
Okay, yeah, I didn't even see it.
Yeah, it's low. But we do a podcast on there. Myself, my homie Big G. On Wednesday night called Pump Your Brakes. Got a new show coming to prelude into Pump Your Brakes. I think we're gonna call that one Smash the Gas. Half-hour show before the hour-long Pump Your Brakes. And on Friday nights with my homie Pay, who's part of the homies who's part of this podcast, the Chicago Bulls, we do the homies really talk about the AFC North, get into a lot of NFL though in general. Pay is the Baltimore Ravens representative on that show, but he brings a lot of football intel. But that's every Friday night with B Dirt, runs the Fans First Sports Network Cincinnati Bengals channel, and my homie Big G. Myself and Big G do a Wednesday night show together, 2 Friday night shows, and a Sunday show. So we're part of the Know It Alls. Homies Overtime is Friday evenings. Check that out on Fans First Sports Network, Steel Curtain Network, Running Through the Jungle, Frustrated Chicago Sports Fans. Everywhere you get your FF15 podcast, you will see some of us somewhere. So shout out to everybody. Shout out to the Post Game Podcast. June and B Foss doing a great job keeping things running for your Pistons and Lions fans. I know Foss getting probably eagerly awaiting the Lions start of this season. Your boy Scuba out there might go ahead. Yeah, might go ahead and go back to back Cy Youngs, right?
That'd be nice. That'd be nice.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's it for me, Foss. It was nice doing the show with you, man. I mean, I feel like it was a more mellow show. We didn't have as much ridiculousness as we usually have when Tommy in the building.
Right.
But yeah, man. So it was a great show. Thanks for hosting.
Yep. And if you guys are listening right now, you probably already know where to find us. We are on Bleachers to Speakers. And we are on post-game podcast and all audio aggregators. Stay tuned. Me and June do a Pistons show normally every Saturday morning. So we'll have a few more of these West Coast games coming up to talk about. And we'll be back next Monday with another Central Division showdown. And that'll be over on the Know It Alls channel. So check us out over there. We out.